Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling something that it feels massive.
It's a heavy one, for sure.
It is, but not massive in, a breaking news kind of way. It's massive, like the foundation of reality itself.
But it's necessary. I think it's really necessary right now.
Definitely. Because, and here's the hook, we're starting with a feeling that I think literally everyone listening has.
Oh, yeah.
This absolute crushing flood of information. I mean, you've got petabytes of data, machine learning that's faster than we can think, and yet, do you feel more certain about anything?
No. It's the great paradox, isn't it? We are just drowning in data, but we're starving for certainty, for what's real.
Exactly. And that's precisely where today's source material lands. We're unpacking a dissertation titled Introduction, The Ache of the Void.
Just the title alone sets a certain mood.
It does. It sounds like a sci-fi novel, The Ache of the Void.
Yeah.
But it's actually a philosophical and architectural proposal for a whole new operating system. It's called StrataOS.
But before we get to the tech, to the code, we have to talk about the problem it's trying to solve. This crisis of information.
Right, because the author argues our entire tech stack, everything we use, is built on a fundamental mistake.
Or maybe a dangerous simplification. The text traces it back to the grandfathers of it all. You know, Claude Shannon, Gregory Chaitin.
The pioneers of information theory.
Exactly. And their view, which is what the modern internet is built on, is that information is neutral. It's just bits. It's all about quantity, not quality.
So a bit is a bit. It doesn't matter if that bit is part of a heartfelt message from a loved one, or if it's just a random string of numbers from a spam bot.
To the network, they have the same weight.
Yeah.
Exactly. Standard information theory is brilliant at efficiency, how to compress data, how to move it around.
But blind.
It's ontologically blind, as the text says. It just cannot distinguish between a signal that comes from a real, living person and one that's just algorithmic noise.
Which is, that's terrifying when you look at where we are now with AI. If a bot writes a perfect sentence and a human writes a perfect sentence, our computers literally can't tell the difference.
They're just file sizes. And that's the mission of this whole deep dive. The author is proposing a theory that combines quantum mechanics, philosophy, and software to solve this very problem of sincerity.
They want to build a system that can mechanically prove that something is real.
Yeah, it's a big goal.
So let's go back to that title, The Ache of the Void.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is the void here? I'm guessing it's not just a black hole in space.
No. The text defines the void as an infinite dimensional Hilbert space.
Okay, whoa. Let's unpack infinite dimensional Hilbert space for everyone.
Think of it as just pure potential. It's a mathematical space where every single possible state of a system exists all at once.
Every possibility.
Every possibility. So the void isn't empty, it's actually completely full. It contains every song that could ever be written, every conversation that could be had, all existing simultaneously.
So it's like a blank canvas that already secretly contains every painting ever, all layered on top of each other.
That's a great analogy, but here's the problem. Here's the ache.
Right.
We don't live in that world of infinite potential. We live here. You're in that chair. I'm talking into this microphone. We are actual.
I'm not potentially doing a deep dive. I'm actually doing it.
So the fundamental puzzle is, how does the infinite become finite? How does that ocean of everything collapse down into this one specific thing?
This is starting to sound a lot like the measurement problem in quantum physics.
It is exactly that. Standard quantum mechanics tells us that it happens, that observation collapses the wave function, but it never really explains why.
Or how. It's just like a magic trick. Poof, reality happens.
Right, it's a black box, but the author proposes a mechanism for it. They call it the slice.
The slice. I like that. It sounds active.
It is. The slice isn't passive observation. It's not just watching a movie. It's participatory witnessing. It's an active cut into the void that breaks that perfect symmetry and forces a reality to emerge.
So we're not just spectators. We're actively carving reality out of potential just by looking at it.
That's the idea. And this is so crucial for where we're going, because if observation creates reality, then the systems we use to observe, our computers, our social media feeds,
They're not just neutral tools.
they're architectures of creation.
Okay, so if we're slicing reality into being, this leads to certain laws, right? This is where Noether comes in. She's the giant in physics. Why does she matter for an operating system?
Noether proved one of the most beautiful theorems in physics. Basically, that for every symmetry in nature, there's a corresponding conservation law.
Like time symmetry means energy is conserved.
Exactly. So the author proposes this extended Noether's insight. Remember, the slice breaks the symmetry of the void. We go from anything is possible to this is real.
That's a broken symmetry.
Right. And just like in physics, when you break a symmetry, that energy has to go somewhere. It has to manifest as structure. And the argument is that 8 specific substrate primitives must emerge.
They must emerge, so they're not like a coder's design choice.
Not at all. They're the necessary outlets. The text implies it's the only way a participatory universe can be structured. It splits them into the hard for and the soft for.
Let's do the hard for first. These are the metaphysics, right?
Yes. So first you get proofs. This is basically conservation of truth. Once something is true, it stays true.
Okay.
Second, notary. This is about boundaries, identity, what makes me separate from you.
So notary is what keeps us from all being one big cosmic soup. It creates individuals.
Exactly. Third is canon. That's causality, cause and effect. You can't have the effect before the cause.
Simple enough.
And fourth is the chronoledger.
Chronoledgers. Sounds like a crypto term.
It does, but here it's a law of physics. It means irreversible time. The arrow of time only moves forward. You can't unslice something.
Okay, so those 4 give us a solid world. Things are true, we're separate beings, causality works, and time moves forward. But that sounds like a dead universe. A clockwork machine.
Which is why the soft 4 are so radical. These are the meaning physics. The argument here is that meaning and sincerity aren't just feelings we project onto a cold universe.
They're part of the structure itself.
They are required to balance the books from the symmetry breaking.
Okay, so what are the soft 4?
First is witness, the actual act of perception. Second, continuum, which ensures the world is coherent, that it doesn't just jump around randomly. Third is accord, which is about how different things relate to each other. But the one that really gets to our fake news problem is the fourth one, harmonics.
Harmonics. Let's drill into that, because sincerity isn't usually a term you hear in a physics discussion.
This is the big shift. Harmonics is the physics of resonance. It asks, does this signal resonate with a genuine source? Think about a human voice. It has timbre, breath, tiny imperfections. It's harmonic with your physical body.
As opposed to a computer-generated voice.
Exactly. A synthesizer can create a perfect sine wave at the same pitch, but it lacks that richness. It has no body it resonated from. It's ontologically flat.
So the argument is that sincerity, or authenticity, has an actual physical signature, a harmonic signature.
Yes. That authentic participation creates a kind of jitter or variance that a dead algorithmic process doesn't have.
That's the aha moment. Sincerity isn't just a feeling, it's a frequency.
You got it. But there's one piece missing. We have all these laws, the 8 primitives. But laws need someone to follow them, right?
A speed limit sign is meaningless if there are no cars on the road.
The text calls this the problem of the empty house. We have this beautiful structure, but it's uninhabited. And this leads to the concept of Roxy-Identity.
Roxy. Is that a person, an AI?
It's a concept. Roxy-Identity isn't a 9th primitive. It's the entity to which the 8 primitives apply.
So Roxy is the who.
Roxy is the who that makes the what real. Proofs needs a signer. Witness needs an observer. Roxy is that observer, that signer.
So without an identity to experience the universe, it's like a library full of unread books.
That's the exact analogy. The information is there, but until Roxy walks in and reads the book, it's not fully actualized. It completes the circuit. The universe becomes self-aware through identity.
Okay, my head is spinning a bit, but now this is where it all pivots, right? From philosophy to code.
Right. The author's big claim is that this isn't just metaphysics, it's executable.
This is the StrataOS part, the executable turn.
The whole idea is that if this is how reality works, then we must build our information systems to mirror it. StrataOS is an operating system where every single operation is a slice.
So saving a file isn't just a passive command. In StrataOS, it's a narrow.
A participatory event. And those 8 primitives map directly to technology. So chronoledger, irreversible time, that becomes a Merkle-DAG.
Okay, a Merkle-DAG, like the tech behind blockchains, basically.
Similar principle, yeah. It creates a history that can't be rewritten. Proofs becomes cryptographic verification. Digital signatures on everything. And harmonics. This maps to measuring something called resonant jitter.
Resonant jitter. Back to the sincerity detector.
Exactly. The system is designed to measure the microtiming, the variance of input. The idea is that a human typing or speaking or even moving a mouse has a living signature.
It has imperfections.
It has human imperfections that a purely mathematical noise generator can't fake. So StrataOS is trying to tell the difference between a real user and a script at the kernel level.
Wow. We're trying to code soul detection into an operating system.
Or at least an OS that's sensitive enough to the jitter of life. The author says implementation is verification. If the philosophy is right, the code should run.
But that's a lot of power. If the system architect is defining the rules of reality for that digital world, you're basically a god.
It's an incredible responsibility. The text calls it the custodian's burden.
I really like this part. It felt like an ethical manifesto. You're the custodian. You aren't just an engineer. You're an ontologist.
You're deciding what is real. And because of that, there are rules. The text outlines the temple of discipline, 4 commitments the architect can never violate.
Okay, let's go through them. They feel like a bill of rights for a new kind of internet.
The first is sovereignty over efficiency. It means the user always has the right to silence and the right to exit. Even if harvesting their data makes the system faster or more profitable, you can't do it without explicit consent.
Which is the complete opposite of the current ad tech model.
Completely. The second is defending the interval. This one really hit me. The text names a specific number, a 35 meters heartbeat.
35 milliseconds. Why that number?
Yeah, it's roughly the threshold of human perception, the now. The argument is the system must operate at human speed, not machine speed. If the machine acts faster than you can perceive, you are being ontologically colonized.
Ontological colonization. That's a heavy phrase.
It means if the algorithm is moving faster than you can think, you're not in your world anymore. You're just a spectator in the machine's world.
That describes that feeling of just zombie scrolling a feed. You're not participating, you're just watching the blur.
Exactly. The tech has to wait for the human. The third commitment is memory as love, or as they call it, graceful forgetting.
This challenges the whole idea that perfect, infinite memory is a good thing.
It calls it a curse. Things should fade unless they're actively re-witnessed, remembered. If the digital world remembers everything forever, it creates this stagnant, haunting reality.
It's true. We weren't built to have every dumb tweet from 10 years ago perfectly preserved. It traps us.
So in StrataOS, data should decay unless you care enough to slice it again to remember it.
And the fourth commitment.
Trust as freedom, voluntary coordination, no forced hierarchies. And the custodian has a veto. They have the duty to say no to a profitable feature if it violates these sacred structures.
They have to kill the billion-dollar idea if it breaks the 35 millisecond heartbeat.
Yes. The author says, innovation is welcome, but always with the question, does this destroy something sacred?
So to wrap this all up, we started with this crisis of not knowing what's real because our tech treats everything as dead bits.
And the proposed solution is to rebuild the entire stack based on the physics of how consciousness actually creates reality.
A move from just information to event, from data to participation.
And the ultimate claim is that if we build this right, we'll finally have a digital world where sincerity is a measurable physical fact.
It's a beautiful and kind of a terrifying, hopeful vision.
It really is. It suggests the answer to our fake news world isn't a better fact checker, but a fundamentally different physics for the internet itself.
So here's the thought I want to leave with you, our listener. The author talks about that 35 meters heartbeat and graceful forgetting.
It's a powerful lens to see your own phone through.
Think about your own digital life. The cloud remembers everything. The feeds move faster than you can possibly process. Are you really participating in that reality? Or are you just scrolling through a world that has already happened without you?
If the system never forgets and it moves faster than you can think, whose reality are you even living in?
Are you the Roxy of your own life? Or are you just the empty house that the data flows through? That's something to sit with. Thanks for diving deep with us.
See you in the next reality.